Right, well, this is Drive Time here at Radio 2. And St. Chris Rea would seem an appropriate place to start, really, given that he's in. Actually true, it's totally true. Chris Rea will be here after 6 o'clock. 30 million albums, how about that? And he still wants to come on the show. He still wants to sell more.
30 million?
30 million records.
Wow.
Thank you very much indeed. Chris Rea might do a bit of Middlesbrough chat as well, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll be very happy about that. Okay. Details all coming up, and we speak to Chris Rea next.
From the
minutes past 6, BBC Radio 2, Chris Rea, I Can Hear Your Heartbeat. Is that one of your old songs that you still love, Chris? This is Chris Rea, by the way.
There's a line in I Can Hear Your Heartbeat, which is the worst line I've ever written in my life. I'm not telling you which one it is now.
Oh, okay, now I want to go back and listen to it again.
Every time I sing it, you know...
Do you change? Can you not change it now?
I try my best. It's one of those things, though, once you've thought of a rhyme, you can't get rid of it. I've got a new song, which is, I need the smell of a new car. I need more than a lick of paint. Now, if anybody can find a reasonably good rhyme with paint, this poetic and rock.
Give us the line again.
I need the smell of a new car. I need more than a lick of paint. I've got restraint.
It ain't.
It ain't. Yes. I ain't no saint. None of them are good enough. And you'll spend... I've got a few of these. We all have a few of these. And you just keep them in the cupboard.
Saint, ain't and paint. And then they don't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you got off on the, like, I need the smell of a new car. You think that's a good idea for a song. Because it is a nice idea.
Well, speaking of cars, which is nicely teed up, La Passione is something that's been dear to your heart for quite a long time.
Quite a very long time.
Quite a very, very long time. And we've spoken about it before, but you've gone back and you've kind of redone it. So just explain what this idea is and what the background is, Chris.
This is the original that was meant to be. Also, I can't go into what happened the last time, and also it came out the same week as Spice Girls and Oasis. So okay, but we didn't do that well.
Right, but the original idea was what?
A little boy in the north, some steel town, and everything's cold and grey, and his Italian father tells him all about this German racing driver who lives in a castle somewhere in Europe. And the boy fantasises on all of the motor racing things, you know. He gets up on the middle... I mean, it did happen to me, you know, when you're 8-year-old and your dad wakes you up in the middle of the night to watch Wolfgang von Trips going round Le Mans. It's like LSD, you know. I mean, I didn't do much to LSD, but that journey to Italy that I went with my father was my... LSD trip. You know, everything got colourful. Everything was about fabulous people, red cars, and that's what it all is about. And I'd written all this music for my father because he once said many years ago, why don't you do some Italian stuff, you know, and pull yourself together.
Proper music.
Proper music, yeah. And so I did a lot of stuff, and we needed a vehicle for it. It just lay there for years, and so the Passione seemed like a good idea, and it was certainly fun to do for me.
It is quite possible that most people, even despite your best efforts, Chris, don't really know much about Wolfgang von Trips.
No, I do better in Germany with it.
So why is he so spectacular in your life and sort of unknown here?
Well, romantically, he was destined to win the World Championship in 1961. And on the race he was supposed to clinch the championship, he got killed. And so that had just a huge effect on me. He was the first person I ever knew who'd actually died, you know. I didn't know the meaning till Wolfgang von Trips. So it had a big, big effect on me. And one of the strange things that happened is you then get married, you have children, you struggle in the music business, and you forget, or you think you forget. And then one day, many, many years later, you've got a day off doing the Cologne Arena. And you walk round the corner, and there's this little building, and it says, Wolfgang von Trips Museum. And it was like a thunderbolt from the sky, you know. I went in, told them I was. They started getting all his stuff out, started showing me all the cars he was designing. They then started getting all his gear out, his helmets and his different racing suits. And then they got out a box of tins of his holiday films. And it was all 16 million. He must have had a few bob. And they started playing these films, and it was all backstage Formula One 1958. And no one's ever seen this before. You know, to actually see Fangio and Sterling Moss having ice cream fights by a swimming pool at the back of some glorious race in the 50s. It was all absolutely priceless stuff.
And also, with you coming from an ice cream family, that must have been like a double hit there.
Yeah, well, I was always disappointed when I saw my first Ferrari, because I asked my dad, because it was black and white TV, what colour, Dad, are these Ferraris? And he held a wine glass up and he said, red, son, they're blood red. And I always thought a Ferrari would be a dark, Chianti colour. And it was more like orange than... I was quite disappointed the first time.
So the car I've been reading about and learning about is the shark nose Ferrari. Yeah. So and this is his car. So what was special about the shark nose Ferrari? Now you're smiling. So.
I am, because I've got to keep down my anorak motor racing thing.
No, this is the time to be fully excited.
No, I don't want to bore everyone to bits. At that point, it was the most powerful Formula One car. And it had a nose that nobody had ever seen before, which was 2 nostrils. There was an aerodynamic theory behind it. And they were called shark nose Ferraris. And this is all adding to the soup for this little boy, He's in blood red cars. They're called sharks. It's awesome. It's like Darth Vader, And Wolfgang von Trips became some kind of Darth Vader to me, especially with a name like that.
Yes, it is an extraordinary name. It's like something out of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So, okay, so I'm going to play...
He's obviously not a motor racing fan, is he?
Me? No, well, I don't know anything about Wolfgang von Trips, and I've never owned or seen a shark nose Ferrari, but I'm listening to your tunes and watching the documentary, and you have come up with as people will expect from Chris Rea, an extraordinary product here, which we'll talk about more in a moment. Tell us about Only to Fly and some of the music that you've written for this.
Only to Fly is a song that comes in at the end, where we have some of the most stunning footage he ever took. He put a camera on a nose in 1960, facing himself, going around Monza, of all places, Monza. And one of the strange things is the film runs out exactly where he's going to die the next year. And we're rundling along with this music, which is, he was born only to fly. He wasn't born to be a boring, everyday person. He was born only to fly. And that's where the song comes from.
All right, this is Chris Rea, Only to Fly. from Chris Ria's project La Passione. That's Only to Fly. We'll talk more with Chris in just a second. 6:24 and Eurovision Song Contest. Will that be on in your house, Chris Ria, or will it not be on? Will you be somewhere else?
It'll be on, and I'll be somewhere else.
Oh, okay, so other people watching it.
My girls love all that camp stuff. They love Graham Norton and...
You got to love a bit of camp stuff and Graham Norton, though. I could see you being maybe the Eurovision entry for next year. Okay, no. Nigel,
maybe I could represent Poland.
Nigel Gloucester.
With my accent.
Well, you could just represent Middlesbrough then. A good year for Middlesbrough, though. So congratulations to them.
Very good, yeah.
Nigel Gloucester. Simon, I rubbed shoulders with Chris in the early 90s at Castle Combe. He was racing a dark blue 308 GT4. Does that make sense?
That's right.
Do you still have it, says Nigel?
No, I'm afraid it got bumped so many times there was nothing left.
How many cars have you got that you...
I do them one at a time. I made a deal with my wife many years ago to save the family silver, you know. Well, there's your little account, you know, you paid your mortgage off, but you can't have any more.
Okay, what do you race at the moment, if you're racing?
At the moment, I am in the most wonderful trophy called the HRDC, and it's 50s saloon cars, and my saloon car is a genuine Morris 1000 police car from Brighton. So it's got big wheels and everything, but it's the hardest form of driving. I'm really struggling, to be honest. You know, people say, oh, you've been driving 25 years. Getting a 1958 Morris 1000 round a circuit is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Wow. Julian Billericay. So many years ago, my husband asked Chris for an autograph on a very rocky hovercraft ride from Dover. Despite looking very green around the gills, he very graciously obliged. We'd just seen him at Wembley a few months beforehand. He's a top bloke, and we're still big fans today. There you go. That's the way to keep the fans. Not just do a good gig, but sign him an autograph when you're about to vom.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't vom.
Diane Walker on an email, first we were saying about Middlesbrough going back into the Premiership, and also I think I know the answer to this question. Did you know David Coverdale and Paul Rodgers when they all lived in your neck of the woods?
I did, but I wasn't doing it. A lot of them have come up to me over the years and said, I never knew you played the guitar, you know, because I used to take one of the bands to their gigs because my dad had an ice cream van, and I could get the amplifiers and the guitar cases in. So that was my glamorous music world, you know. Ice cream van taking a local band to a gig.
So what was the first time that you thought, I'm enough of taking other people to gigs, I want to be the person that's up on that stage?
I wish it had happened overnight, because it must be great when something like that happens overnight, but it took years and years. Yeah, I wasn't born to be in showbiz, so it's twice as hard for me than anyone else.
I think you've done all right, Chris.
I got away with it.
You have.
I think.
Are you?
I'm touching wood.
And how's your health? I've spoken to you before about all the bad times.
It's still bad. I have to live with it, and I'm getting better at learning to live with it.
This is pancreatic cancer, which you've spoken about before. So that's back again.
Well, it's not that. It's that the pancreas is gone. Yeah. I'm now doing what happens when you survive, which is all sorts of terrible dietary things. You know, you can't eat donuts. I sometimes forget, and I always regret it.
Yes. But the cancer's come back a few times, hasn't it?
It's called retroperitoneal fibrosis. It's not actually, it doesn't actually get in the glands and become a stage 3 or anything. But it's there. I mean, this year it came round my right kidney. I'd have an operation to move the kidney. Every year there's something that knocks 5 months off your year, really.
So how often do you get to be Chris Ria? You know, and get up on a stage and play songs like you want to?
Once every 18 months, something like that. Actually, touring isn't a hard thing, because if you're the singer, if you're it, everything time-wise revolves around him and his eating and what he's not eating. It's quite easy, and we're still at the level where we get very nice hotels. Can't complain, really.
La Passione is, as I mentioned, you know, it's a wonderful piece to own. You know, there's a couple of films in there, a couple of CDs, beautiful artwork. It's quite retro in that respect, you know, but people have expected that from you, Chris, you know, to have something that people want to sort of look at and cherish and to meditate over. for a couple of hours. So does that mean that for the future that you'd like to do more with pictures, maybe do more with films, or are you going to go back and do more blues albums? What is it that you'd like to do?
Well, it'll be something to do with the blues, but it'll still be a book. Because I love doing them. I love painting for the books. It gives me a job. I'm there every morning, 7 o'clock, painting something for an album cover or pages in the album. And the music business really would like me to go away, because I'm always saying, why aren't you getting into this? It could be the future. They see warehouses, lorries, transport problems, plus finding shops to sell them, you know.
Well, we're very glad that you keep on doing what you do.
I'll never give up.
No, absolutely. We wish you a healthy rest of the year. And La Passione is on Jazzy Blue, and it's just one of those projects that it's fantastic to just immerse yourself.
It's a book.
It's a book?
It's a book. It's got 9 films. It's got tons and tons of pages. And it's a really, really cheap price. And you can put it on your coffee table. You can buy it for Dad for his Father's Day present.
See, you're a commercial product, even if you don't want to be. That's what you are. You're thinking commercial.
Like, but in the end, you got to go and sell the bastards.
Now, what's the rhyme that we had to try and complete?
I need the smell of a new car. I need more than a lick of paint.
Yeah. Well, everybody is... I mean, basically everything is taint, restraint. Would the word complaint work?
Not in a rock way, no.
No, okay, well...
They don't swing, that's the trouble. I'm looking for a swingy word.
Faint, anyway, we'll give them all to you, and then you can do what you want to do with them.
For my lawyer.
Chris, always a pleasure. Thank you very much, Steve, for coming in.
Thank you, Si.